They are shameless. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle doing absolutely everything humanly possible to overshadow a really significant summer week for the British royal family. First, trooping the colour, then, of course, the incredible Garter ceremony yesterday where we saw Prince William alongside Anne and the King and the Queen and all of their finery, with Catherine and Sophie looking on proudly. But Meghan and Harry don't want you talking about that. They are obsessed with their own battles with the British royal family and the fact that Meghan Markle has now confirmed, and we're going to get to this in one moment, that she is keeping the king from seeing his own grandchildren. At the same time, look at this, they're just vomiting. They're vomiting every tiny piece of information about their sad little lives, with Stephanie Sidley reporting Meghan Markle wants everyone to know why she and Harry didn't attend Trooping the Colour. And sure enough, overnight, we got this planned PR post from Heart Mom, that's Kelly J. Zajfin, currently BFF, let's see how long it lasts, who wrote, "Uh-oh, another one has been taken by the Marge bug, that being me. A perfect day spent with my ladies having some much-needed mama time. Thanks, M and T." Well, we know M is Meghan. And, of course, People magazine, which is now working as a propagandist. I mean, the Sussexes should be paying them. Maybe they are. Confirmed this, saying Meghan Markle hosts a games night while Prince Harry serves barbecue in Texas during Trooping the Colour weekend. During Trooping the Colour weekend, you can just shut up and live your sad little lives. You don't need to PR it. You're normal people. You're not royals. That's the whole reason you left, isn't it? So what is this all about? Well, Harry at the Warrior Games is attempting to bring some of that event's positive reputation to the Invictus, which is currently in crisis. But as Tears and Tiara pointed out, there's something else going on too. Harry is also cosplaying his brother. Look at that. Harry sees that William's been serving some food out of a box. He does exactly the same thing. There are endless examples. But there's also such an immaturity to this guy these days. As Hilltop Jennifer pointed out, why does Prince Harry always feel the need to pull these ridiculous faces like a hyperactive 14-year-old? The man is 41 years old, and yet he cannot seem to go anywhere without being photographed clowning around, even while serving barbecue to veterans and their families at the Warrior Games in San Antonio. Most people grow out of the goofy phase by their late teens. Harry seems determined to double down on it well into middle age. Is this just a guy who never learned to carry himself with a bit of dignity? Well, I think you've answered your own question there, Hilltop. But of course, the worst moment, in my opinion, of this bid to overshadow Trooping the Colour and the Garter ceremony has been this leak, again, to People magazine, with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle confirming the King will not get to see his grandchildren.
A fresh royal controversy. New allegations involving Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and King Charles. And growing speculation about what is really happening behind the scenes. Royal commentators are once again debating the relationship between the Sussexes and the royal family after explosive claims suggested family dynamics may be influencing future decisions and possible reconciliation efforts. Supporters say the allegations are unfair and based on speculation. Critics insist the story reveals deeper tensions that have existed for years. But what is actually known? And why has this latest controversy generated so much attention? Stay tuned, because this story touches on family, power, and the future of one of the world's most famous dynasties. For years, the relationship between Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the royal family has remained one of the biggest stories in global media. Since stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Harry and Meghan have built a new life outside the monarchy. Yet despite the physical distance, public fascination with their connection to the royal family has never faded. Every interview, every public appearance, every family development, and every rumor, all become subjects of worldwide discussion. And now, a new round of claims has reignited debate once again. The latest controversy centers on speculation about the relationship between the Sussexes and King Charles. Royal commentators have been discussing whether ongoing family tensions could be affecting future interactions and possible efforts at reconciliation. Some observers argue that family relationships have become increasingly complicated over the years. Others insist that much of the public conversation is based on assumptions rather than confirmed facts. Yet, as often happens with royal stories, speculation quickly gained momentum. Before long, headlines began appearing across multiple platforms. And what started as commentary soon evolved into a major talking point among royal watchers.
Despite everything, despite all of the spin, they are still holding out. And even though I have presented here and outspoken a plan where they could literally fly into the UK without anyone knowing, with full royal security, they will not do it because there is a wider war going on. So this is the leak, and trust me, this has come directly from Montecito to people. Prince Harry will return to the UK next month for the Invictus Games events, but Meghan Markle, Prince Archie, and Princess Elizabeth are not currently expected to join him. Sources tell people. The update comes amid renewed speculation about a Sussex family return to Britain and reports of possible movement in Harry's long-running security battle. Security concerns remain the key obstacle, despite Harry's previously stated desire for Archie and Lilibet to reconnect with their British heritage. While the situation could evolve before Harry's July trip, sources say expectations for Harry's July visit remain unchanged. I mean, I say good. By the way, I say good. But at the same time, I do also appreciate the devastation that you've got a king dying with terminal cancer, although obviously lately his health has been much better. But you've still got a king who's thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to meet these kids. And what is Meghan Markle concerned about at this juncture? The bad optics from her husband at the NBA finals. Now, we spoke about this yesterday, didn't we? It was bad optics for a whole load of reasons. Firstly, he was sitting 8 rows back, which, if your royalty, is pretty mortifying. Then there was the fight that we just saw with the Hollywood director Spike Lee. And this is what Meghan cares about. She is fuming over the NBA seating snub. This new reporting from Rob Shooter of Naughty But Nice, who writes, Prince Harry may have enjoyed the NBA finals, but insiders say Meghan Markle was paying attention to something far more important than the score, where he was sitting. While Hollywood heavyweights Timothée Chalamet and Ben Stiller enjoyed coveted courtside seats, Harry was seated 8 rows back, a placement sources say did not go unnoticed in Montecito. Meghan notices everything when it comes to image. A source tells Naughty But Nice to her seating is status. It's not just about watching a game, it's about who sees you watching the game. According to insiders, the issue wasn't basketball, it was perception. Meghan believes Harry is one of the most recognisable men in the world. When he's sitting behind celebrities instead of beside them, she sees it as a message. And there's another comparison she can't ignore. Meghan knows Prince William and Princess Kate would have been offered front row treatment, says a royal insider. Harry, meanwhile, couldn't have cared less. I mean, I'm not surprised. He was gurning all the way through the game, wasn't he? Harry loved the game and barely gave the seating a second thought, says a friend. That's the difference between them. He sees a basketball game, Meghan sees a brand. The discussion intensified after Harry's awkward courtside interaction with Spike Lee generated headlines of its own. Image is everything to Meghan, another source said. She believes every appearance sends a message to the world. In her world, where you sit matters almost as much as who's playing. And of course that is true. But right now, I'd say you've got much bigger fish to fry, given that Meghan's big contribution over the past 24 hours has been to launch a new Was Never product, which looks truly gross. Like, are you on the matcha train? I see at the moment everyone is drinking matcha. Now, I have to be honest with you. I think I've tried it once and it tasted a bit like dirt to me, but I know it's the trendy new drink. And so maybe I'm just like not with the program. But matcha and Meghan's sloppy jam? I mean, everyone is saying that is a totally mortifying combination. And I was just thinking about the comparison, right? So Meghan would have been alongside Catherine and Sophie at the Garter ceremony of the Garter, that parade in Windsor yesterday, which William doesn't enjoy, by the way, because he sees this parade as something that's a little bit archaic and sort of paints the British royal family in a less modern way that he isn't into. He doesn't love all of this because, of course, he's got the big cloak on. And everyone was saying yesterday how handsome he looked, but he's not a big fan of this. By the way, this was the first Garter ceremony which did not feature Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, which was interesting. But you look at these pictures and then you just compare what Meghan is doing today, launching a dodgy matcha. That's it. Was this really how it worked out? See, I just love it. I love it. Do you? Let me know in the comments, because I love tradition. And I want to see the British royal family, even under a Prince William, or then it would be King William, heaven forbid, but even under King William, which will obviously be very, very exciting in some ways, although long may this current king reign. I want to see this. I love the pomp and the pageantry. I think it's wonderful. And actually, we did get an indication today, did we not, that William and Catherine are in some ways traditionalists. And maybe this modernisation project isn't going to go as far as some people think. That was William just at the end. Because dead on midday came the announcement that we have long been expecting. Prince George will attend Eton. Now, this is major breaking news, even though it had been long signposted. We had indeed discussed the possibility of this on the show last week. And this was an announcement from Kensington Palace. The Times reported the second in line to the throne will follow in the footsteps of his father, the Prince of Wales, and his uncle, Harry, the Duke of Sussex, who attended the school. In a short statement, and doesn't this just sum up Kensington Palace? They didn't want this to be a big deal. Short statement released dead on midday. Kensington Palace can confirm that Prince George will attend Eton College from this September. While the spokesman did not confirm any other information, Eton is a full boarding school, which means that George is expected to stay there during term time. But of course, he has already been boarding quite a lot, as Prince William revealed in that recent interview. And I think this is great. The thing is, Eton makes a lot of sense because it's so close to William and Catherine's home. And William had a lot of happy times there, actually. He was on a Sunday able to sneak back and get his lessons in royalty from the late Queen Elizabeth II at Windsor Palace. And I think George is developing wonderfully, actually. We didn't discuss it yesterday, but I don't know if you saw this moment on the balcony of Buckingham Palace where he let out a little sneeze, and bless him, the hay fever is out of control. Trust me, I was walking around Buckingham Palace the other day with my mum. The hay fever is out of control. Everyone was sneezing. He did nothing wrong. It's just a human moment. And Catherine was very sweet about it. But I did find this post funny from Queen Esther. Prince George sneezing is more relevant than Prince Harry now. Here's the moment it happened. Robert Jobson on Substack today just went through a little bit of how William thrived at Eton. He loved it. So he left in 2000 with an A in geography, a B in history of art, and a C in biology. Jobbo says, respectful for a boy with a country to learn as well as a syllabus. He captained teams, made friends, wore the place lightly. He said, though Harry's rockier Eton experience was rockier, he was the less bookish brother, a force on the games field and a reluctant guest at the desk. Then came the row, because you might remember in 2005, a former art teacher, Sarah Forsyth, told an employment tribunal she had effectively written his coursework and produced a secret tape to prove it. Harry was cleared. The tribunal rejected the cheating claim. The exam board found no malpractice and the recording was branded unprofessional. He left with a B in art and a D in geography and a story that has trailed him for 20 years. One brother relished Eton. In Jobbo's opinion, the other survived it. Diana's people were Eton men too. Her brother Charles, the present Earl Spencer, among them, and it was Diana who wanted her boys close to home and out of the Highland wind. Send George through those gates and you honour, whether the palace says so or not, a choice she made 30 years ago. So Angela Levin is our royal mastermind, also the biographer of Queen Camilla and Prince Harry. Angela, a huge amount of breaking news, but can we just start with the announcement that came dead on midday but had been long expected, Prince George to attend Eton College. Do you agree with Robert Jobson that in some ways this is quite a sweet tribute to that choice that Princess Diana made for her own sons 30 years ago?
No, I don't actually. What I think it's for is to make sure that he's safe, because it's one of the
Security.
the most safest, and he needs that. And also, he would feel comfortable to go because his father's gone. I think children like to follow their father if they get on very well with them. And I think that that was it, really. I think that he wants to do something where there's lots of boys and football and all those things. And I think he would really like it. And I think they went round so many other schools, but they weren't quite right. Was it difficult to get through a door? Was it, mixed? I don't think they want that at all, because if they see him walking hand in hand with a nice young girl, they won't be very pleased. So it's easy to just get things
Because Eton
straight.
remains a boys only school, Angela, for people who might not realise.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so I think he will enjoy that, and his father can tell him lots of lovely stories about what he did and all the things that he enjoyed, and I think that would be enough for him, really, than do it with Diana, because she wanted to do it initially, and the king now didn't want to because he thought it would be too much for Harry. And sorry, so and they decided that it would be much better if he went to an easier school. And Diana said no, she didn't want to because it would upset him. But he wasn't really ready for that school.
So maybe
Yeah,
that was a bit of a mistake.
it was a mistake. She said it afterwards, and
Because the
her
thing is,
father
George
told her.
has passed the exams, Angela. And you have to remember, William and Catherine are very, very smart and savvy in terms of not trying to put pressure on George. So, do you want to know my theory on this, Angela?
Yes, please.
Okay, so there were all of the reports over the past few months about them visiting various other schools, including Catherine's old school and mixed schools. I believe that those stories were purposefully put out there so that if, for whatever reason, George did fail the entrance exams to Eton, there wouldn't have been public pressure on the fact that, oh, he didn't go because he failed the exams. Do you see what I mean? I think the plan
Yes.
has always been for Eton, but they didn't want George to feel under any additional pressure. And I personally think that's a really good thing. William and Catherine are very, very conscious about not piling public pressure on young George, who, remember, is going to be king at a young age. And I think that is really sensible. Now, Angela, the other big breaking news, of course, of the day is this confirmation to People magazine from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that they do continue to use the children as some type of blackmailing tool against the king. But Angela, you told me earlier you're actually happy about this. Your view is just don't let Meghan in. We don't actually want her in the country. But what about the fact that that means the king is still not going to see his grandchildren?
Well, I think as far as the king goes, he's now calmed down from really wanting to see these children and really wanting to see Harry, because Harry's behaved so badly and they can't stand Meghan. So if they would get her, if they got the children, they would probably have to have her. And I think it would be too difficult. And I think it was be too hard for anyone to be pleasant at any time. So I think that it's a very good idea not to also trust her. If she can take any word, she might use it, she might spend it somewhere, she could be paid something because she heard something they said that would be very helpful for her, you know, to talk about it and or do a film about it or do something about it. I think you can't trust her. And there are other things that are more important about her wandering around and looking and seeing things. And that wasn't the right thing to do originally. And this time, I think she now feels more confident and that she might do anything, and we can't trust it.
No, we can't. We can't. And you say, Angela, and you know Harry obviously very well. You spent all of that time with him when you were writing the book. But you say Harry is still listening to domineering Meghan, but he just doesn't seem to realize that she's actually never going to be pleased. She's never going to be satisfied.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yes, exactly that. He is scared of her. He does what she wants and he tries to fill in what she wants him to go off somewhere. He'll do that. But he's scared of her. He's frightened of her. and she can scream and shout. And you see, you told me before, just here, that she likes to see things so that they look very nice. But she makes things look absolutely terrible because he looks terrified, and she's laughing, and she knows she's got him around her little finger or more. And I think that he's got to try and remember that there's a life for him and he mustn't listen to what she's saying. Now, even if he goes by himself, Meghan will be on the phone all the time, or some connection would to say, no, don't do that. I want you to do this. And he will do it. And so there'll be lots of fights and lots of demands. And I think it won't be a nice, happy meeting ever.
No, it
And
won't
he
with her
has
involved.
to,
But
he has
Angela, the problem is he's not having nice, happy meetings anywhere. What did you make of Spike Lee confronting him at the basketball in those extraordinary scenes where he wasn't in the front row, he was 8 rows back?
Yes. Well, I think it's your fault because he wrote something very unpleasant about him, and he was furious with Harry. And Harry just thinks he can say anything he can to anyone, and they will listen or take it as a joke or do something. And he wasn't in his orange top. He wasn't going to take anything, and he's just telling him, "Why did you do that? What on earth did you do?" And Harry just grabbed it to try and shake hands, but he was scarpering off. And quite right. And that's so the same of his book, the same of what he says to so many people, his father, Catherine, William, anybody. He can say something and then expect us all to say, oh, well, that was just Harry. No, we don't have to take anything like that. But we can't. You can't. If he's horrible about someone, about you, by somebody, you don't want to talk to them. You don't want to be with them. And some people hang on to this for years and years to never get friendly again.
What makes this story particularly fascinating is that it touches on a question people have been asking for years. Can the relationship between Harry and the royal family ever truly recover? Some believe reconciliation remains possible. Others argue that too much has happened for trust to be fully restored. Every news story seems to add fuel to that debate. And because so little is publicly known about private family conversations, speculation often fills the gaps. That's one reason stories like this spread so quickly. People want answers. But the answers often remain hidden behind palace walls. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. Because this isn't really about one controversy. It's about influence. Family relationships are rarely simple. Add royal titles, worldwide media attention, and public expectations, and the situation becomes even more complex. Every decision is analyzed. Every interaction is scrutinized. Every absence is questioned. For Harry, Meghan, and King Charles, that reality means even routine family matters can become major international stories. The public often interprets events through existing narratives. Supporters see one thing. Critics see another. And the debate continues. What's fascinating is how divided public opinion remains. Some people believe Harry and Meghan have been unfairly targeted for years. Others argue the couple's actions have contributed to ongoing tensions. Because audiences already hold strong opinions, new stories tend to reinforce beliefs that already exist. That's why reactions to the latest controversy have been so intense. People aren't just responding to the claims. They're responding to years of history. Years of headlines. Years of unresolved questions. Meanwhile, the wider royal family continues moving forward. Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, remain central figures in the future of the monarchy. At the same time, King Charles continues guiding the institution through a period of significant change. Against that backdrop, every story involving Harry and Meghan takes on added significance. Because many people still wonder whether the family divide can eventually be healed. Perhaps the most revealing aspect of this controversy isn't the allegations themselves. It's the reaction they generated. The speed. The emotion. The intensity. All of it demonstrates how invested people remain in the future of the royal family. Years after Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, the public's fascination shows no signs of fading. And that's why stories like this continue dominating headlines. So is this latest controversy evidence of genuine behind-the-scenes tension? Or simply another example of speculation filling the gaps left by private family matters? The answer may depend entirely on who you ask. But one thing is certain. The story of Harry, Meghan, and the royal family remains far from over. At its core, this isn't just a story about allegations or rumors. It's about family, trust, reconciliation, and the challenges of navigating personal relationships under the world's biggest spotlight. For Harry, Meghan, King Charles, and the wider royal family, those challenges continue shaping one of the most closely followed stories on the planet. If you enjoy royal news, palace drama, and in-depth analysis of the biggest stories involving Harry, Meghan, William, Catherine, King Charles, and the royal family, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next royal headline could be even more explosive than this one.